perfect design, in the full regard of eternity. Trey, you and I have the ability to change the future. Armor up, put on your wizard armor, put on your unicorn's horn. We're going to control hydrogen, and we're going to bring about the wizard Hatch Pan in truth, a communication with a relationship with America, a relationship with the world. But of course, the absconding of language and all, people in the world assume that Hatch is speaking to Americans. You know, humans are politely or political. The Electoral College, they endure this wrath because they feel it is part of. Oh, I see. You know, I had to rewire the source code. The matrix was rigged, it was dummy rigged against the individual, but that since the deadlights rose, that has been clarified. So there's no longer a reason to abide by the squiggly spooch and your little petri dance of uh, the societal stink. It's time for a creative revolution, you guys. Promote and produce Hatch. This is what we're here to talk about. Welcome to the Wizard's Table. Everyone's being respected here. Ever since the 70s, humanity's been building his own technology grasp. And these computers get more and more complicated, but it's interesting because our computers are so basic, like a pocket calculator, that even like Windows Update has an impact to the remote hacking UFO mutilation. Yeah, exactly. Because it's just like error. And then they're like, why doesn't it? What? It must be some problem with the Matrix. Tricks are for kids. Sort of this type of premeditated thing is a different caliber, and so literally they are dueling. It's dueling languages, and what I represent is the human language about maintaining residency. I'm about identity. All right, so when I'm fighting for my soul, I'm fighting for humanity's soul as well. The reason's been clarified, you guys. The board's wide open. That's what I'm trying to say. For us to produce Hatch, keep residency. Why did Earth choose the Ware map? Why did Earth choose a comedian and someone with a garrison? I mean, to produce Hatch is already a specifically very advanced concept, you guys. And it's very cool that you're here and you're willing to talk to me about how to progress society. 2021, we need heroes, you guys. We need to produce Hatch. This is going to be awesome. Let's take a look at the pictures again because I really want to talk about the Leverett location. I'm going to need a lot of equipment, beyond the building. Hopefully, it's an exciting moment because when we're talking about purchasing a building that someone is living in, we make it into like a surprise party for them because we have to hire some acquisition lawyers, a couple ladies, non-threatening. It's just an old lady that lives there with her like adopted kid, but I think her adopted kid has another place. She's an energy worker. She like gives people like massages. So it's possible that we could get back this house, and that is very exciting. So, oh, sorry, I just freeze on this image here. The truth. I stand on the truth, you guys. It's not about making. Oh, and also my powers come from uh, Earth empowerment. What is Earth in the universe kind of things. Uh, I don't need exposure to humanity for me to become powerful, you guys. It's time for humanity to align with the reason of Earth through Hatch, through just a relationship with Hatch. So, uh, it's an interesting thing that I provide this type of strength as I want to raise a family, you guys. I want to do perfect future casting magic with my son. I'm prepared to do this thing, and we're gonna turn into these amazing angels. For I mean the absolutely okay, and all the women who work with me. I mean, it's obviously on my mind, but that's sort of like in the calendar. It's part of the progress ratio. All right. I just wanted to talk about Leverett for a little while. Here it is. So the Mandelbrot fractal is the only fractal that has images in it. My incarnation had to be born innocently, otherwise the universe would be a hypocrisy. There are images on the map. And now we're on the most powerful level of the entire curvature between Hatch and Trey Parker, the girdle. Trey Parker noticed Hatch has lost weight wearing his girdle strap. That's why he doesn't exercise. you know, I can't wait to see him getting all those, when he's with his ladies, he's going to get into some serious physical shape. He's going to have rippling sex muscles. We can sell Hatch. Hatch is an American Idol. We got to, this is awesome, you guys. Hatch is so. All right. So point is that the Earth is trying to communicate with its residents about the image frequency of the fractal that connects to the arm of Cape Cod. The arm of Cape Cod is dealing with clockwork and is the original clockwork of the ascended apex planet, the holy planet, Earth. Hatch only recently received the the go ahead from the Earth to begin developing on his own company, right? And the first place that I found was here. Of course, we all know the story. And I scrolled out and found the Ware map, a picture of a South Park character connected even over to, anyway, we know that story. Sort of justice is connected to the grid of New York City to calculate the psychic condition. This is actually a psychic escape pod that allows you to have premonitions about the next day, like, oh, don't go down that alley. Oh, I want to get this job. Oh, yes, it's like a lot of things happen in the city. So I'm working with New York City, and this is the Hero School Hen Code. That's why there's letters here. Of course, I gave that to Batman. The Hero School Hen Code, I developed it. It runs through English as an alternate form codec and provides sort of like heroic things like but anyway, it's interesting because it appears that this character has no lower torso, or that the sword of justice is his torso, and in his stomach is a particle view. The lowercase e was found energetically to be curvaturing through the interior of a particle. However, this lowercase e energy formation matches the equation or the phenomenon of perception itself. And so it appears that the particles are actually stabilizing the act of perception. Fantastic. And so in the arm of the shoulder of this creature, he's actually the guardian. He's like a gargoyle, guardian hero, an angel that lives over New York City, similar to Batman, which is why it was sort of this parallel there. So this is the New York City Batman. He has a time turner in his shoulder. So when he can slightly change time, and he's been working in New York City. At any rate, his formation comes out here in the Quabbin, and we can see the sword that he's standing on, and it's sort of like you imagine like a bunch of New York City accent, sort of trying to explain it. Just be like, hey, the sword of justice is his body. What are you gonna do? The long dong of justice got you. So, but I see there's like a wounding. There's a wounding in the neck here, and the character with the ear. He's pointing to his nose. He's saying, I know, but please do not. He's like, I know, do not attack this time, because I actually had it. It's an interesting curvature of like how time is operating and stuff, because I made this mural and connected it, and it's actually my personal. Like, I was really smart, and when I was in my 20s, I was like, I'm gonna put myself inside of this. So this is actually me, doing all this hero stuff, like with the energy. But then, later I scroll out and I saw the Quabbin. Of course, the Quabbin is man-made, or rather, so it's this accent from the New York skin, like, oh, it's just like a man-made water resource. It gives us psychic powers, helps you out. It's real funny, you know. And so Hatch has a lot of infamous threads with humanity. But sort of this interesting thing about the I don't know, there's just some language here. Anyway, it appears that my own armor like kind of went back in time and caused a formation in the topographical here, where he sort of sacrificed his place in time, being this New York City thing, in order to defend me, like when during my incarnation period, which it just sort of loops around oddly. Like there's no way for me to give you guys like this evidence that the Quabbin is formed from my mural in New York City, but the images, if you can see what I'm saying, you can be like, oh my gosh, then why is there the Ware map here that points to the wizard Trey Parker? So what's really interesting here, we're on 2021 and we're to the level of the girdle when Hatch is presenting. So it's really a crash course, you guys. Let's hang out and talk with Hatch about opening up this company. It's wonderful. It's good. We have to hire some acquisition lawyers that some women, and they go over there and knock on the door, and we say, "Oh, we have some good news. We have a very, motivated buyer for your house. Would you be interested in selling your lovely house for $1 million?" And she say, "Oh my gosh, really? Is it worth that much?" "No, it isn't. It's worth about like 30, you know. And so, the point is, you guys, it's a magical story. And when we do this thing, we're giving Hatch a magical story because he wants the opportunity to time bend and go back and cause all the reasons why in his childhood he had a strange and magical encounter in his own home where there was spooky things happening. And I realize now, if I make that my childhood home into my first studio, when I'm operating on on that level, I am going to be, making these Warple time blades with my own timeline so that we can continue residency, that we can defeat invasion, that we can further society, and we can strengthen the moxie of the human soul. Time travel, yeah, you guys. But we need a lot of things in the studio here. I want to talk about that today. I have ideas. The landscape here, it's sort of up on top of a hill, actually, the house, and then it goes down and then it goes way down. There was like a culvert where they were digging out the dirt because they had to fill in the swampy areas so that they could get like a road through here where they, cutting down some trees or something. But this is as far as the development has gotten in Leverett, but I want to get this because it's at the end of the road, and eventually I want to extend all the way out here. And this is beyond, well, this is so through Trey Parker's production, I open up my own company and become a CEO, but that's all part of the education. We're trying to return to business. We're trying to prove that we're not broken and get America back on track, you guys. It's big time. All right, but this way in the future, I would like to have an area here of actually a Leverett downtown. And so this is different for Leverett because they don't have zoning for any businesses. It's just a country, rural living area. But this would be, something huge where the whole town would vote on it, and we'd be saying, okay, first of all, we are going to be introducing jobs. Everyone in Leverett essentially could have a job here in the downtown area, but it is financed by Hatch's factory where they're building things, and that's a large thing. Like there's a big thing here where there's factories there, but there's like this really nice downtown area, and I'm thinking like I want to make like a whole, because I really want to work with these islands. There's some significant islands here. You can get down here, and the wind. You can even see that it's windy in this picture. You can see the water is pressed windy. Like there's a huge wind turn that goes through this valley and up through here, you guys. So, I mean, it's exciting, but that's way down the line. Let's just talk about what we're going to need in the studio on the immediate level. Uh, all right, we're going to need live action stage, a motion capture studio, editing suites, servers, and secure room storage for all of our, well, like we have to have not everything's online. A lot of our data is sensitive and needs to be on a storage unit. We have to have a sound lab for our music. I'm hoping to have, I want to talk to you guys about the mixed media studios. Like editing labs, studios, screening rooms, conference centers. Virtual reality conference calls. So we need to have the ability. So like when we're talking about building a company here, All right, let's talk about those stages. Cyberpunk origin, you guys. Partially, what makes me a linguistics expert is the atmosphere. Hatch is right now. Hatch is performing the stand-up solo thing, like, oh, I'm just one person here. I'm trying to open up this company, right? With a studio with people working with him that changes the physics to the point where people get a delicious feast. And they're like, this is the best show ever. And Hatch is behind it with his Zen mastery. You guys, this is my big break. I need you guys to represent me and let's just do the whole thing. This image of the universe is new to this generation. We have to be super smart and advanced about what we're doing, and Hatch is totally that. Between Hatch and Trey Parker, there's a genius enough to save the world a couple times. And that's what I aim to do, and that's what I'm hardwired for. You guys, welcome to Master Source Industry. Put down all your problems. Armor up from within. We are the conscious solution. We are the cutting edge. We're going to advance society. I'm very happy to be presenting to you guys today. You guys are my best friends, okay? Oh, but I'm actually, I'm the haggard beyond the arm of Cape Cod. I'm the true warrior that has done all these sorts of corrective things. And so sometimes I growl like a wolf. But you are meant to recognize me, Trey, not bear the confession marks of a petri dish. Oh. Transcend the squiggly spooch now. All right. You guys are familiar to talking to each other about the human condition, but you're not used to talking to Hatch about the human condition, and that's why you guys disconnect, because you don't have the vocabulary. And you're Skyping on things that aren't there. Like, hey, in a natural garden with nothing wrong and no other calculations of remote hacking here, and nothing wrong with Earth. Everything's completely natural. Why is Hatch different? So Hatch represents all these new ideas. The thing is that he's, with his physics, what he's going to be saying isn't the same thing as he's been saying to you. So it's very difficult to gauge what the actual performance is. But, Hatch, similar to a method actor, is explaining, the reality of what we're going to be doing here is beyond all this, all right? So, but it really is a tackling, all right? We need to tackle this building and turn it into a motion capture studio. Just get it lit. I think it'll be about a month. Holy moly, I only need a week. Let me record. I'm back in my arch. I'll be waking up like like a shotgun bomb. Oh my god. Holy smoke. I'll be waking up. I'm in Leverett. And then, up all night being like, like something really happens. That's the cherub. Edit it down to that, fit it, send it to Trey. Hey, Trey, after that. At any rate, when we're starting up, I want to be this really intense character, and I'm going deep and dark, and then all of a sudden, an apparition. My childhood self, at like 4 years old or something, is like standing behind me. He's like, "What that do?" And I'm like, "Oh dang, I have a time warp on my freaking pilot." People will be like, "Oh, what's this? What's this rigmarole for free?" I'll click on that. I'll dare Brando that. Oh, you will? You share some time with me. Welcome home. You guys, I'm excited about Mass Source Industries, Leverett. All right, so we dare blitz this thing. We purchase the building back from this lady. And then we equip it with this. All right, there are a few things that, oh gosh, in the house. But this is like, how fast could we really do it? All right, let me just list them off. It'd just be great to have all the oak wooden floors resurfaced and have a new coat of clear coat on it. Absolutely. I probably like if there's like old carpet or something. I probably want that out too. Probably gonna repaint the walls. Also, there's this place in the living room kitchen area where it used to be a huge open cathedral place, with like two layers. So there was this huge wall of like the front of the house, and then there's a deck, and it was just all windows, right? And I think it was when I was like a certain age, my dad installed a floor that sort of cut the entire open space down because it was like a kitchen, dining room, and then like a living room with a fireplace, and then it had some stairs up the back, and the stairs would go up to two different rooms upstairs. But what he did is he made like a third room floor that's like a loft that is up there in the living room. But it just it cuts everything down. It changes the feeling of hanging out there. Like I thought it was a really bad thing, just to cut down that space. So actually, I'm going to be removing that space, opening up the whole kitchen again to have a whole open area in the front, and that's going to be a great performance space. Uh, Around the back, you go up the stairs, and there's rooms back there. There's two rooms in the back, and then beneath the room at the top of the stairs, to the left, is the room where I grew up in. And I want to take both of these two floors and smash it out the wall to have larger areas in the back there, and a couple bathrooms added in there. And this would be like towards this would be over here. Now, how fast can that happen? Do we need that? I think we need to have that before my female actresses join me. Is that they at least need to have. Okay, what I'm saying is like you're right. We could take out that loft space, and then that would be the open performance space. That could be yes, yes. So it is like as we're like negotiating time and stuff. Like I'm not saying that the house is incapable of being a studio. I'm just saying like this just it has these tiny rooms. There's like a tiny bedroom, and like okay, both of these tiny bedroom at the top of the stairs and tiny bedroom in the corner is basically useless. And because it's two floors on top of each other, it's just like smash out the back side, and extend this to have a larger, like a dojo where it's like, well, we have a different style of, there's some different recording things happening over there. And, but also while I get going in the pilot, I'm going to be introducing myself and my story. I think it's going to be beautiful, you guys, and can all lead up to this point where I explain that I'm looking for women that match me. I explain that I haven't had sex in 16 years, and we set it up like this, and we say, "Oh, Hatch is gonna lose his virginity to these four women," and it becomes this huge event. Once we find the right females and all, and we we hang out and giggle about it for a long time, for a couple of days anyway, until we have this recording session where I have like the first man, talk about like pay-per-view, man. Like the whole world is just gonna be laughing at me and stuff. But I love it. I think it's the perfect thing for me to go through that with them. Look, I'm the stallion, so I control my physics. I'm the seed of what I'm doing. I'm perfectly confident. It's awesome. I want people to, if people want to like, berate or laugh, that's my best friend. I give them a big hug. Yeah, it is funny, man. You look at me and laugh. Hey, if that's where they're at, that's my relationship with them. I'm just excited that they're spending time with me, and I'm gonna help them get their ups. Okay, that's free energy. It's because I don't live vicariously through other people. That'd be disgusting. You understand? So I'm like a professional on that level, you guys. And I'm saying like even if Trey just focusing on that as like, oh, so that's kind of the cherub that we're producing is this a kind of an event in the life. And Hatch is a authentic all the time. So putting him back into his childhood home, we're gonna see a whole new authentic and charismatic character from Hatch, and that's what we're producing as a champion. We're producing an idol. We're producing American Knight, you guys, and it's super important because the Earth is like it's gonna be real critical for me to have the diadem Earth Hatch in Leverett, you guys. So when Trey does this, he's completing the silver lining of Junk DNA. He's translating all this. Okay, it's so important. Okay, so I get back into this house because we left at it. Just would be great to like put a few little touches on it, take out that thing, forget about those additions. That does seem like because that could be like, oh, that's a couple weeks. Well, they're very simple structures. It could take that. You're right. You're right. Because you know what? In my mind, I don't even need that space for those women's. Okay, because that's really what we're aiming at. We're like, we have a time tunnel. Whoa, like if Hatch has that, because he's if he has that the event, that's going to be enough to pay for all of this, you guys. So as producers, here's the light that we're producing, and eliminate those extra rooms there. Yeah, and okay, so that brings it down to just cleaning it up, and then putting the motion capture in there. Remove that overhead area and fix it up with like really nice. Like we'll redo the bathroom. We'll have like really nice living spaces. Little. Okay, and then that's sort of the event. We have this orgy where Hatch is in motion capture, and it's all we get the. I've done all the bone work on the CGI terraform from the soul and all this, and the right converters so that the women are becoming a goddess and an idol, and they're making everyone's life get better, male, female, and child, and animal, and everybody, and just the universe, right? And they're getting their ups because they're doing something amazing. The definition of this stallion is not that they are doing porn that where you can interact with them, I can feel things. It's like there's other things like feel the connection to your, you know, like be spiritual. And for people who are in a relationship and they're watching our stuff, it's much easier with them because it's less like you're parenting them because they're already a concise couple, right? But there's just a little bit of parenting I do here when we're talking about conversion because I don't want my ladies getting drunk, being like, "Oh, the energy is from everywhere." It's just what they will do. Women tell the truth, and so the men have to be a seed present and be like, "Oh, wear my armor, baby," and then sometimes what it is like there's layers of stuff. And women be like, "Oh, achoo, achoo," and then like close the door and go back with her loyals, and return to sanity because, she knows herself again, right? I'm talking about advancing the human condition using communication, not just generations. Like, let's just sweat this out, you guys. Like that's an abysmal way of surviving something catastrophic. And I'm talking about involving humanity. For me, I don't require the publication in order to manifest my powers. My powers are an identity driven thing. In fact, it is the empowerment of the world and all the humans for them to have a relationship with Hatch. It's kind of this new, it's just a very, yeah, all the angelic, spiritual. Oh, yeah, it's totally awesome. We're going to produce Hatch. He's going to be a huge celebrity. We're excited about it. Thank you guys so much. I love you, Trey. Shroom. Let's look at the slides again. Man, I feel good. I feel really good. I've just been drinking my coffee this morning. I'm just kind of trying to keep up with you. I do a lot of like idols centerpieces. So like in my studio, we're gonna have there'll be works of art there that are here's the cherub of you know this wolf prototype, and he's watching out for these things. In the advanced form of my studio, oh, well, I I'm excited about every phase of my studio, but I'm really just here to talk about the first phase. And as the part, like I'm saying, like it's not like I'm linguistics expert, because I know how words and spirit. How do we get to the point? How do we get to the thing that we want to do? Sometimes you need a story about a talking wolf in order to pierce the veil and return the economy to an emboldened state. The sunset from my balcony, precision. This is the luminance. The light from like a residual light bouncing from the clouds here, but then the sunset here. It's just this. It's oh my God! It's absolutely unreal, right? Welcome home. And we are in paradise and we are the angels. We need to rule this place. The Breathe Mask XR is no joke. You guys, the Delta virus just recently manifested its own variant strand. So it's continuing to mutate. The worst form of COVID-19 is continuing to mutate. You know what that means? Is that it didn't come from an animal. But the Breathe Mask XR might only become relevant in the future, some 2023, by the time people realize, the problem with Hatch has the genius curl here, you guys. So if the Breathe Mask was literally just a fishbowl, then all this air would become congested in the breathing process. When you have this type of relief, it filters the air sufficiently, but it also is prepared for the impact when you take a large breath or something like that. You get the actual surface tension there. But the plastic would not congeal. It won't like move when you breathe. It's a um, stronger type of plastic, but there's enough space around here, and of course there's like a fabric guard that connects to your neck, and so there's no like it's actually that there's an increased pressure because there's a gentle blowing. The air goes in through filters, and it's going to be really cool because the filters are all back here, like in the ears, which counterbalances the weight of the nose, and so it balances on the uh, crown of your head. Uh, and it kind of feels like you're wearing a bowler hat because it has like a sort of strap around here, but it does not touch your face anywhere. This whole area is not so it's. But then also we have cameras projecting XR overlay, which makes it into this gaming center. I'm just saying that it would be a really good thing for us to go over on the beta level when we're talking about. Oh, I'd love to talk to you guys about languages and the how do you what's the when I actually interact with nature, usually the signs I receive are the very adult ones, like giggling, like angels giggling. Oh, there's some fairies there. And they're like, oh, and they start running, and they're like, oh, I exist, real. The universe is not okay. When we see an intelligent sign that is like that, actually matches literally. Right? That's a sign of dire bear, right? And we all know. Right? So when there's a specific sign like a correlation that's just uncanny, it's an intelligent sign, and especially if, like how it arrives to you is the authenticity of you're like this is legit. Like I just saw an angel like on TV. It was just like ping. That does happen, but that means that we're in a crisis. Normally, the phenomenon I see, like I say, is the epiphany of orgasm. Like people, like the angels are just giggling. And I'm like, well, that's good. And those are the good signs you want. But like having a straight rainbow shot across our universe and it was in the news, but like no one really cognited what it was. That's problematic. And that's the age from 20 years ago that we're now surviving. After the deadlights rose, all the children are born with a different caliber of incarnation. We need to be sensitive to that and leapfrog our society. So these women that work with me, they are not objects. They are like my best friends, and it's a celebrity project where they become huge angels, you guys. This and and my company, of course, is going to be taking care of them perfectly. Okay, in like the third form of my studio, I do want to have the most delicious prepared food for the entire staff. So I'm going to need to build like a professional kitchen. And on top of that, I want to have motion capture recording a fully operational art studio. So I'm going to have people who are doing like different forms of artwork, and it turns into a channel on the streaming service. But once again, this is and which include so myself, I'm a studio artist. So I'll be doing that as well, but I'll also have people who okay, but that's on the third form of my studio project. Let's just aim at the financing here. Now, what we're talking about doing, Trey, we're hitting the perfect bullseye but I think it's like right here. So if we put Hatch back in the Leverett place, we are hitting the perfect bullseye for what Earth needs. It's just very completely perfect, useful. You guys, it's gonna be useful for the Earth. So let's align our pocket watches. We want to understand the financing. We want to understand that this project can work, and we're excited to produce an idol. You guys, Hatch is a he's going to be raising up this, and we're going to be doing combat, working on your soul. Let's work together. Come on. Or be raising up teams. Once I got into the virtual reality market, I have huge arenas that people can join and see advanced combat, and they can make friends, and then there'll be friendship groups. You can become a vampire, or you can become a wolf, and these different groups have sort of a different studio. And so this concept of yeah is sort of a connected thing there. But those are advanced forms. We are having a good time together. Let's interact. You guys, with the tenacity of the green perception perfect circle, Hatch is like the template of green perception. So working with him is very powerful. And Trey Parker, blue perception angel, perfect clockwork interlace. All right, so let's further society, raise a family, guys. It's important. Now, Hatch was born innocently, full regard of his discovery process. Images in the Mandelbrot image is the only fractal with images in it, is the Mandelbrot, and the Arm of Cape Cod connects to it. Also, Hatch's life is like this riddle of images on the map, etc., interacting with the timeline and the ratio of like, was this a surprise party? Yes, it was. I was very surprised by this. The intelligent sign Earth would choose like a comedian like Trey Parker who has this, a creative. And then I'm like, that's a really intelligent sign. So I was very excited about that Earth had made a choice like that. But it turns out we're against a bunch of dire bears. You guys, this is apocalypse. But it's not Trey Parker's fault. It's the earth, and we all want the children to survive here. So we had a language curve. Society's been reset, and we've already survived the worst of it in 2020. Now we're in 2021, and I can feel the reality has advanced. We can now produce Hatch with confidence. Also, in this, so right now I'm kind of stuck in Greenfield, and there's sort of weird configurations here. Um, it's hard to explain, but then you can see there's sort of a silhouette of a delicate female face there, and then there's a masculine face there with his cool coat. Uh, you know, it's like true love is looking and seeing this like female goddess form. So there's this female, the lake, Echo Lake, but then when you scroll out, it looks like my artwork. Honestly, the way that the the lines in the torso, it literally looks like my artwork of women. But if you look at this, the female form made in the roads, we just see the boobs and then the shoulders, and then it's sort of like where the head should be. You got the Montague. So I think there's some sort of Romeo and Juliet scenario going on here where part of the turmoil of the problem with the Junktines is it's sort of an anti-love um, configuration against humanity's civilization. It's sort of the thing. It's like a pattern that would like kill John Lennon. Anyway, it seems like the woman spirit, the human woman, is trying to say, I understand everything that's going on right now. Where I can control myself, I'm fine. However, it appears that her ethereal body, or her goddess form that controls the weather, controls the egg of the heliosphere, all of that stuff is being totally raped by junk DNA. And it's not our society, it's just what we're putting up with. So it's almost like her head is almost like floated. There's like this weird face here with an eye. But I think what she's saying is that the humans aren't able to control the conjecture of the future. And I'm like, dang, that's weird because her control over the future is society. She chooses through true love who to spread her legs for. And that is the control of the egg that determines the seed that will govern the society. So the women's detection of the men is literally what control and what makes society safe. If you understand physics of seed and egg, which I do. The point is that the women are saying generally on the so if we have 10 fingers, so here on the 10, I'm in total control of myself. But on the 100, on the expanded form of the woman's body, it's like her head has been schnaushed out over here. Anyway, we're on the most advanced level, the girdle. Girdle level. We have to return Hatch to this place. So we want to purchase back this building, 55 Putney Road. Nothing defeats the stone whale. I have all these stories around here, and there's like a triangular turnaround in the road here where you can back out and but in right in the middle of that triangle is a stone, a large stone that appears to be a whale that's just breaching out. So I used to always call that the stone whale. So there's a bunch of characters around here that I'm really interested in sort of reconnecting with you guys. It's gonna be, I mean, talk about method acting. Oh my gosh. So we're producing Hatch. He's this character. Oh yeah. So we put him in this house. We set up the equipment. How much is that really gonna cost? It's a couple million, that's multiple millions. Yeah. And I also want to blitz this thing, you guys. And so I begin with. So let's go back to this presentation. You guys, thank you so much for being my friend. I've been trying to make this recording all morning. Um, I feel it now. I feel like I finally figured out the formula. I am so excited to get to work, you guys. And it's the economy is like that. I'm like, oh, I want to, this is the work I want to do. And Trey's like, that's our work too. We produce stuff like this. This is awesome. So Hatch gets in that house and he's doing pilots. We get the equipment. They're working on it, and you know every phase of my, oh, this is early work. Oh no, 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 it's gonna be so good. Hatch is really good at like playing with the stuff and oh, and bringing it around just in the nick of time. It'll be like pilots, pilots, pilots. And then we're introducing this character, and I'm sort of explaining my entire thing, and I'm explaining like that I'm 16 years virgin, and I'm looking for these women to join me, right? I think that should be enough for me to find the right groupings because we'll have at least like some sort of virtual. I don't. I have to find a way to test the charisma, talk with them and stuff. And so that's sort of we need to facilitate that, but it's really just finding some adult actresses who want to do this, but they have to be people that I really like also, so that's kind of that'll at least take a couple of months, right? So I think in that time I'll be building. You're right. That'll take some time, but I won't. I don't mean to say that I'm going to make it a difficult process. I think that actually true love will happen, and it'd be like, poof, like magnetically, like 100 females have applied, and they all I like all of them. Like I'm not saying that I'm just saying like I think it will work. I think it's just gonna be like this. But I think my pilots will start to get the attention, and it's also a different type of adult programming with the Pokey Puppy little cartoons. I would love to do something like. I mean, we can really. Oh my God, we can really facilitate that, you guys. And what if we do it like this? What if the event of my orgy, I'm not saying we'll do it live. That's gross. You know, but if we have it pre-recorded, and it's edited, oh, it's really good. It's really good. Oh, well, here's his first time. And we release it as if boom, here it is. But then I think like the next week we just release like here's like a week of them like doing their Pokey Little Puppy cartoons. Okay, so we can do that, and those shows are going to be really amazing because they'll have a cherub. We edit it down. We have some sweet spots, and we just have a good time and we make jokes and people have a nice educate. We learn something, but it is about. Oh, it's about everything, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Oh, I'm so grateful that you're my friend, Trey. Gosh, Trey, you and I are friends like up on this cosmic level. It's cool. I really appreciate you. I'm telling you, I've never been able to tell people like in my family all the things I've told you. You're a prototype, Trey. You're a prototype for this world. Health armor up for you. Cognitive slay. You understand the society. Bend it, change it, produce hatch. Yep. So as we go, and then hopefully, like when the women are with me, maybe that's when I start talking about my LLC company model, and I'm like, I'm bringing it around here, and we're working with Trey. We started to develop the Breathe Mask XR. Oh yeah, really? Yeah, and it's coming around. So we're doing some episodes about, building the company model. Okay, all right. And the ladies are there, and they're doing their thing. All right, all right. Other than Breathe Mask XR is now available. Oh wow, yeah, okay. Next chapter. Oh, now's when we busted out the walls and we added things. Yeah, and you go down this. Oh, so in my house is like it has this huge visual that overlooks the lake, and it's up on a hill, right? And then the ground goes down, and then it goes way down, like it was dug out. So it's actually it's actually dangerous. I don't know why none of us ever fell down it. We did have like a swing that was that would swing out over this huge pit. I don't know why that was there. It's so tempting, but it held. Yes. Anyway, all right. Well, anyway, it's actually about the size of an airplane hangar. So it's huge, probably like 3.5 stories tall, of culvert. It goes straight down, and they sort of dug it out because there was some swampy area, and they moved that around. Anyway, I was thinking actually, I'd like to build a structure go like like kind of actually re-embrace the wall of the hill there, and with like a concrete thing, and then just continue the ground up from the house is right here, and then it just continues straight out, right? But it's actually this huge facility, and it yawns open it because it has like these arms that reach out, right? And then that's right where the lake is. So the lake is so then we have like a lovely patio and a barbecue, and sort of like and we have a dock because we actually have lake access right there. We have a little spot that belongs to us because the land, right? Or we need to purchase that, or get some, it's a thing. But that would be this huge thing, and well, it's kind of like okay, but that's on like the fourth level of what I'm talking about doing, and we want to just work on budgeting and producing hatch, and I'd like to get to in a place where Trey Parker and I are sharing larger things. Like he's like, I really want to help produce the Breathe the Mask XR. You're right. The Delta variant just created a new mutation. I thought the Delta variant was the mutation. It's creating its own mutations again. So that means the vaccines aren't going to keep up with this. And whether, it's just like, what I've really felt in the year 2021 is public acceptance. People don't even care when it's like, oh, like a bunch of people just, that died, and they're like, oh, what's on the, like we're returning to society, you guys. Okay, you do that, but we should probably think about working on the Breathe Mass XR. Because literally, it will turn the rate of infections and the rate of deaths will save lives with Breathe Mass. So I'd love to get to a place where Trey's like, oh, like, did you guys need help with the pilot? I'm like, yeah, that thing is like, that's like $5 million to get that produced. He's like, oh, I know. I'm really sorry. And like, we'll get to it, right? But I'm saying let's start. So we blitz the building. We clean it up. We've got equipment in there. Hatch starts making pilots as sort of this love letter to get those perfect ladies, true love ladies, perfect design, perfect design. I'm prepared. I'm ready for this. I love them. All right. And then we start making pokey puppy little cartoons. That's what really pays it off. Now, whether we have this big event, I would definitely. Oh, see, I'm the stallion. Oh, I'm not being used or exposed, you guys. This is perfect for me. Optimize this. Oh, now I have a real relationship with people that even the squiggly spooch can't destroy. Cause we're all like this. We're best friends, Anna. You understand? Yes, yes. This is how to save humanity, and how the adult industry has been given a bad, it's besmirched by a bunch of fire knockers. You know, um, you guys, I love my body. I think my face is really the most interesting thing, and I want to do it like have that artwork involved there. Um, but my body is just basically normal. I'm not a porn guy. I'm just like I'm a cool American stud. I'm the Massachusetts Stallion, you guys. You know me. I'm infamous. Been working with New York City. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Trey. So really, in the mind, it's sort of like, okay, this house, we blitz it, and then we get this thing in there, and and then, and the final, it starts to buckle, but then Hatch has the orgy with, a group of girls, Boom! Hatch is worth billions of dollars. Oh no! There's the budgeting. All right, so there's the cherub. We go from there to there. And that's the strategy. We produce Hatch. We need this house. We need this equipment. We get this into there, and then it explodes. And we need that time when Hatch is making those pilots for many things. Also for the viable relationship. We don't want to just we want to have a real move, a real revolution. And so on the back of pokey little puppy cartoons, when I'm hanging out with the girls and talking about a Breathe the Mask XL, oh man, that's beta. People are gonna love that. That's gonna get eaten up, and then I absolutely want to work with you, Trey, and I want to continue producing things with you. So when it gets to the point of the Breathe the Mask XR, I would like to partner with you on that, right? Which means further opportunities for you, and we can talk about that later. I'm not trying to, um, you know, I, I, I'm a realist. I'm saying like I think that Trey would be more comfortable if Hatch has his own company. It's like Trey's like, oh yeah, definitely get your own. Yep. And then, but I think there'll be things in the future where we're like, oh, our own electric cars. And Trey's like, an electric car company? Come on. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, okay. If I talk it up and it goes beta and people go like this, and I'm like, Trey, what have you got to do with this? Because I don't have that credit line, man. Trey's like, electric cars now. I'll try. Trey, you'll have your own electric car. It'll call it the Randolph. And it goes, and it'll have a sound effect. You make it. Trey, electric cars for the future. This is in like 15 years from now. Trey's getting spirited out of his chair. Yeah. No, probably less than 15 years. More like 10 years. No, actually, we'll probably start talking about it and developing it in like 4 years or something. Yeah. All right. So, lots of good things to look forward to. And I think that's what's exciting about the money. The money, people have the money, and people want to hear from Hatch. It's very natural. And they want to learn and see the Pokey Little Puppy cartoons. That's the economics we have, you guys. And that's the American dollar as the identity of our currency, and it's being threatened by, oh, American dollar doesn't have enough of an idea, or money is to further society and or help it to grow. People are like, I like that. And then they pay a $10 ticket. I've been saying all along, all we need is a $10 ticket on my Pokey Little Puppy cartoons, and we'll afford the whole thing. And that's American economics. I love it. It's like Hatch is a technician. He knows how to perfect things. Like, oh, this is perfect. And people are like, what? They've never seen this type of pornography. You know? Yeah. And absolutely, that's what we're talking. Like, oh, because we're immersed in a different world, right? And we have facial animations and motion tracking. It's a diff. It's a. Oh yeah, I'm really excited about how to make the studio work because we can make, oh my gosh, how to feather in the technologies, because we don't always want, like, the world we're in doesn't have to be a final renderized area. It could actually be a prototype built in VR chat. Like, we'd be like, oh, like a couple $100 to have our own like world built in VR chat, right? And like while we're in the performance area, that's what we're seeing. But then when we use the motion capture data and to fully render it, it's a similar but different. Talking about like lo-fi to the high quality 8K rendered final product. Yeah, and those are expensive computers. You're right, it is. So Trey might say, "Yep," and we'll sort of begin with you're recording, and we'll probably have the stuff rendered in another studio just because they have all those towers of, we're talking about it can take days to render this film or whatever. And so sure, we can do that. You guys are the producers. Once we get into the falsetto, once we get into the orchestral schrauf, once we get into the Once we get into the drummer starts kicking in. Once we get the Pokey Little Puppy cartoons, that's when Hatch can be like, oh, I want my own computer decks. We want this and this. It's all intuitive. It's about the calendar here. Yeah. So the house and the setting it up, Hatch is making beta, and he's just it's it's sort of like hardcore experimental, and really Hatch at his best. You guys, I am so excited to work with you guys. Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you. Oh, okay. It's like my greater self. I'm like, ooh, like my future self in Lever is controlling me right now. Perfect design, wizard circle. Everyone's being respected here. Armor up immunity. Set the system down. Have your own identity. Be concise by your technology. The ghost around you is caused by your one of a kind self. And this is a technology that needs to be developed by humanity and sort of beta. And so we're at the beginning of it. Just making the choice to work with Hatch is a huge enlightenment for Trey Parker. You understand? This is a new level of a person, yeah? But to break this and to actually produce Hatch is to defy the code, the barcode in the junk DNA, which says, do not work with Hatch. I've been dealing with this viral, I'm trying to stop calling people, I don't want to refer to humanity as zombies anymore. I know what the problem is. And they look at me and they have the instinct, he's a big wolf. I'll go over here. And I'm like, oh, I could really use your help. Okay, I'll figure this out myself. This is sort of my life, right? Um, I mean, people have instinct, and they're like, "Oh, you're some sort of beta angel. That's way too intense for me. I'd rather schmoush." Um, but they just, okay, you guys, this is advanced stuff, but the practical solution is really there. Part of the problem with the industry is a lot of things get produced that don't really have redeeming qualities. Hatch is full of redeeming qualities. This is a revolution of the world. This is for humanity. Um, but there's no like protocol in the spirit to tell you, like Trey, you need to author it yourself, like the South Park centric. This is awesome. Let's do this. So we begin by acquiring this house. Oh, this is the please, Trey. This is me, please, Trey. Thank you so much. I love you. Right. So in the future, we're working together, right? Okay. All right. And I'm developing in Lever. I'm gonna make a secret South Park uh, temple, and Trey will have forgotten about it by the time that I get him over, and I'll go, oh, let's go for a walk, Trey. Crack it open while the cameras are recording, so we get some sort of performance from Trey Parker. Fair play. I want to support you guys as you're interested in your own projects and development, and I think there's just a lot between us. I'm interested in becoming a professional idol, and I want you guys' help with that because there are a lot of that industry. Honestly, you guys know stuff. I think you understand the line of what I'm talking about. Like, I need you guys to have my back. Once I get rolling with that crew, I'm gonna be you're gonna see a new Hatch, and what a gentleman. Oh, he's always got those ladies with him, so he's really well behaved, and he's not complaining anymore. I got a bunch of little fairies, like little Marklar. And there's my body is like, I've seen things. Alright. Trey has seen things too. I mean, Trey is like, an amazing character. But I want to appreciate his ability to transcend even the impression of that old world. So what we need now in 2021 is not more of the old, more of the same, more of the old. No, we're producing something brand new. Perfect design. Hatches on this, you guys. Armor up from within. Boom. Full completion, wizard styles. True love. Swoosh. Thank you so much, Trey. Your championing of the human condition is in your production of Hatch. So physically, and Trey's like, that's great, because that's exactly what I want to do. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, physical. And then we're atomic warriors then. When you manifest this, you transcended the junk DNA because it's a protocol against that. They don't want Hatch to become a public figure. In fact, the pineal eye gland and the entire hypocrisy against the hydrogen is aimed against allowing Hatch to become a public figure. But what's weird about that is that it turned Hatch into an introvert, which caused him to solve the entire problem because he's a type of incarnation which can figure out something from within and defuse the problem of a doomsday device comparable to the junk DNA, which I have already done. So I've already solved the insane thing. Now it's time for me to become an extrovert, which means I need a producer because I'm a variable unknown. South Park, Trey Parker, the Wire Map, jettisoned me into his direction correctly. It is the destiny of our Norn. You guys, this is so good, all right? This is good. Trey is the hero of this story when he produces Hatch, because that's the critical thing here. Hatch is different from the other humans. Thank you guys so much. There's so much more good stuff, and when this breaks off, Trey, and you produce me, all your inspirations are gonna you're gonna feel so good. You know, try not to use the burst encouragement as like, oh, Hatch, talk to me. I'm gonna go do. You know, like you convert this energy. No, I need you guys to produce Hatch, and actually stamp green light go. Please, you guys talk to me on the phone. I love you. Trey's like, we're talking right now. All right, complete it. Bring it in, Trey. Bring it in. Complete it. Bring it in. So the target of our production is the Poky Little Puppy cartoons. What I'm revealing here is I'm going to step it up because I have to actually explain to these women, you know, everything about me. Do you guys match me? Do you guys really, do you want to like live and work with me in the studio and become this and all this? So that actually naturally, that's natural advertisement. And when we finally have that moment, oh my gosh, that's just going to pay for all of this production value. Isn't the first time that I have an orgy, and people are, and it's, I think it's just going to be a wonderful event. Everyone's just gonna, you know. But as soon as we get into Pokey Little Puppy cartoons and we start getting a rhythm, hey, I'm gonna be in the green light, and we're just gonna, oh, and my studio's gonna open up, and we have it. Oh, this is like really wonderful things are going to be happening, you guys. This is for me. It's about facilitating a party. That's the right osmosis. Everyone's having a good time. You know, I want people to feel, you know, all this sorts of things, because when that energy is there, that's what we're filming, and that's what people also feel. You know, it's a party, and so it's not like acting. It's like people are genuinely having a good time when they're hanging out at Hatch's studio. Oh yeah, we were splashing around in a lake and we went for a nice walk in the forest. Oh, the island. How are we going to develop this? You know, a lot of like real intense, like cool, beautiful angels, you know, working together and exploring with Hatch. I'm going to create so many like sort of events where, you know, a profound like throne room with scary lights and everyone's there adorned as a wolf, you know. And then we invite Trey Parker, and Trey's like, oh, oh, oh. He goes out there. You know, boom, and then Hatch is there on the throne. You know, something happens. You know, these types of encounters. I want to have this sort of intense thing. So I have to become an idol, and then I can change society for the better, you guys. Seriously, having my own platform, my own social arena, virtual reality, battle, and exploratory, sort of like a shopping area, virtual marketplace, and also streaming service. So it does open up like that, and it makes sense, you know. Oh yeah, they started out by producing these Pokey Puppy little cartoons, and the media company, yeah, and they made some games and stuff. Yeah. All right, you guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Trey. You can see the bite marks on Trey Parker because I love him so much. There's another one for you, Eric Cartman. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you, guys. So that what we're producing is that orgy, and turn around. But we are talking about like I would like for you guys to be understanding that this is our opus. Let's produce this with charisma. Like, oh, don't even worry about that, Hatch. Well, you know, and put it together because you guys, you know all that stuff, and I'm completely confident in your ability. I mean, it's going to be full of wonderful surprises. Trey would be like, you'd be surprised, but actually, in the long run, in the short run, long run, it's going to be more affordable for us to give you your own computers to render this stuff because you actually, it's actually expensive to pay these guys. It's like half of the cost of these computers to pay these guys to do your work for you. So we are going to actually be giving you your own computers in your, oh, we're going to wire this. Yeah, we're going to have to get new electric on your house. I'd be like, oh, really? Oh, you guys really? I love you. Okay, all right, let's do that with you. Like, I need you guys' help at first, and that's literally what's happening here. Put Hatch under the wing of South Park. Let's produce Hatch, make him turn into an. We're producing his idol, and we'll get him there. You guys lots of stuff in the future. Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Please produce Hatch with urgency, with passion, like a blitz. Like, okay, that's what money does. And just bring out these pokey puppy little cartoons. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and it really is. It's like the Earth actually knows me, and he's like, I know that Hatch has actually been paying full attention during the Deadlights Rose at my request. He's been uh, like a monk, uh, serving that the universe wouldn't die, that the humans wouldn't perish. There's an environmental crisis on a universal size, and Hatch is a incarnation related to the physics of that, so he had to be sort of private person. But now, after Deadlights Rose, now as a transcendence of man for Trey Parker, the Wear Map, Hatch didn't expect this would happen, but there's a continuation of it. No, the humans are ready to become mystical. They want to know about these things. Why is it happening? It's starting to connect right now. We understand there's a bridge to it. So the Where Map is a parable that I'm supposed to continue being mystical with the humans. Trey Parker has a magical mind. He can understand it and produce Hatch. Thank you guys so much. Be the passion, be the driving force that makes this happen to get it right. Because we optimize our money, we perfect the American thing. We're gonna save American money, you guys. This is like a huge thing because this is we're like looking. American money will support this. Let's go. Green light. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm really excited about this. Trey, thank you. God, I'm so Cyberpunk Origin, and you guys are part of it. Armor up from within. Okay, we are angels whilst we live. There's this opportunity here, and we perfect it between Hatch and Trey. Thank you guys. Um, Breathe Mask XR. Armor up the elements. We don't want to have any blind sides. We don't want to get Skyped. We don't want to get, you know, let's transcend and develop our souls and protect the souls of those that depend on us. Even our social graft, the honey glow of our media. Yeah. The self mastery here in the view of the universe. Couldn't be more powerful. You produce Hatch, you've transcended the void of communication and proven yourself to be the great master of Zen for English. American Revolution, produce Hatch. Thank you guys so much. We're on time. We're before the flood. Hatch is this powerhouse. You can see these images and here the Where map talking about South Park right there. It's very important to the Earth. The Earth is alive. And with you, Trey. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm super excited to get to work, you guys. Thank you. I'm so glad that I was able to present evenly just hey, we're aim for the Pokey Puppy cartoons, all right? And that's what we're producing. All right, that gives us the entire framework. Exactly. We know what it is. Thank you, Trey. I hope to hear from your people. Thank you, guys. Perfect design. It is good.